and roll, Chicago. Rock and roll, Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock your city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around.
Hey, this is Paul Martin
and Ray the Roadie
for the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. How are you today, Ray?
Real well. I'm kind of in a hurry though.
Yeah, me too. I'll be in a hurry. So
gotta be quick. Gotta be quick today.
Yes. Gotta be really quick and right. and energetic and why is that?
Energetic, like a bunny.
Yeah,
like a bunny, like an Energizer bunny. Yeah.
No, it's
probably because.
Go ahead.
Probably because the band we're talking to today is Fast Suzi.
Fast Suzi. That's
fast.
Right.
Fast, super fast.
Fast. Well, Fast Suzi, there's no Susie in the band.
No, there isn't.
No, but there's a story behind it. We learned.
Yes, we did.
Behind the name.
I knew a Fast Suzi a long time ago.
I bet you did.
I did.
Yeah, I bet you did.
This band isn't named after her.
No.
I
bet you still got her number too.
I probably in my little black book penciled in.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, no, Fast Suzi as a band has been around for a while. They've actually formed in 1988, 89, something like that.
88, 89 was originally, yeah.
And but they've gone through some changes, and they're back, and they've got a new lineup. We talked to Mark and Matt and Andy and Dennis and Bill, and it's the whole band now. And they're excited to get out there and start playing soon, hopefully the spring. And but they're working up their material list right now.
That's right. All original too. Original. A lot of bands doing that nowadays.
No, there's that. So they call themselves a cross between Dokken and Scorpions meets Scorpions and something. I forget who else they said.
I wouldn't want to meet a scorpion.
No, me neither.
That would be quite painful.
Yes.
Then you'd have to be fast to get away.
Absolutely.
Well, let's. Why don't we go see how fast these guys really are?
Okay, let's do it. Here we go. Welcome to the show, everyone. Today we're speaking with Fast Suzi. Now that's not a girl. That's a band. The band Fast Suzi. How are you guys today? We've got Mark and Matt and Andy and Bill, and I forgot who the other guy was. I didn't write him down. Dennis. Sorry, Dennis. I didn't mean to forget about you.
Fine.
So tell us a little bit about the band. I know you guys got a history going back quite a ways, don't you?
Yeah, we're kind of like the Statler brothers of hard rock now, where there's only one original member, or almost like Foreigner. I had started the band in 1988, and we played the Wales circuit like everybody else, all those great bands from back then. And 1991, we kind of parted, went our own separate ways. In the mid 2000s, the other founding guitar player, the late Mickey Thomas, he and I resurrected the band just for covers, just for fun. And that's where we met this Jamoke. And so he was with us for a couple of years. And again, life got in the way. And
who was that Jamoke? Who was that Jamoke?
This is Andy Kiss, drummer extraordinaire.
Hi, Andy.
How are you?
Good.
So a couple of years ago, I had left a tribute band and thought that I really wanted to get out and play the music that we had done 30 years ago. I felt that it needed to be heard. And after a couple of starts and stops with different members, we've hit on the right formula. And we're working right now to get a set together to hopefully start playing out later this spring. I think we have less than 40 days now to spring. So it's not that long, not that far away.
That's what the groundhog told us anyway.
That's right.
He lies.
Yeah, he does.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that. I have kids. They do that to me too. I get that.
So you started a band many years ago, and and now back then, did you do all original stuff, or did you cover stuff or something?
Yeah, it was all originals back then.
And
it was all originals because every band playing the circuit mean, at that time, there was this wealth of really wonderful bands, and they all did originals, you know, a cover here and there, but pretty much all originals.
And have you come back to that now?
Yeah.
All originals?
Yeah. I mean, and so the plan is we're going to bring back a number of songs from back in the day. Dennis's last band has some great material, a band called Black Arrow, and we're going to do some of his songs, and we're in the midst of writing new material, and there'll be some covers sprinkled in because, you know, the club owners want to hear songs they know.
Correct.
So, you know, that's going to be kind of like, you know, the seasoning on top of the dinner, if you will.
So what would you say your music is most like? So what's it been compared to?
80s metal with some rock blues.
Yeah. Classic hard rock. Maybe Aerosmith, me too.
Well, we used to say the mix was kind of like Y&T and Dokken meets the Scorpions. With a touch of the Spice Girls. No.
That's just me.
If that were the case, I'd be Old Spice. But, you know. But not really metal. I mean, some part of that. There's a little bit more cohesion with the hard rock bands of the 70s and early 80s as opposed to the later, like hair metal. Bands back then, you know, some of those bands, I think, you know, we align ourselves more with bands like Tesla and things like that. But the scope of the music, since Dennis joined, has really just kind of blossomed, and it's gonna sound a little bit different than it has in the past. If you've seen any of the old black and white videos on YouTube from back in the day, and a couple of the rehearsal videos with the last group of people, it's going to be different, and it's going to be wider, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think people that are used to the original lineup and the original music are going to be very pleasantly surprised.
Dennis is your lead singer, right?
Right.
And Dennis, you're the new guy in the band, right?
Yeah, I'm very new.
And I mean, like only a week or two, couple of weeks, right?
We can say a couple months, but in general, it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, we found each other prior to the holidays, and we just kind of wanted to get through all of that and start getting down to business, rehearsing the material that we wanted to cover first. And then, you know, like anything else, like anybody else in the band will tell you, you take a chunk of songs, work on that, then work on the next chunk, and then you build yourself up to kind of go through an entire set. And that's what we're doing right now.
So Dennis, what is your history with music? How did you get started?
Oh, I started actually far away from here. I started in Eastern Europe.
Okay.
We had a band that we played the same originals. It was called Black Arrow. We used to play in Eastern Europe, countries like Ukraine, Belarus, Moldova, and so on. But I got relocated years ago, and here I am.
Before this band, did you play with anybody here in the States?
I actually tried to play a couple bands, but it didn't work out most of the time because people are thinking of probably something else that I'm thinking of. It's about commitment. If you try to stick to a certain, let's say, schedule or something like this, you want to stick to it and not like skip and then find out that they have more interest in their girlfriends rather than coming to a rehearsal or something like that. So,
right.
Yeah. I actually work on my own songs in my spare time and so on. I meet with these guys.
You have spare time?
I have midnight or something like that. Yeah, I'm working Saturday, Sunday. I'm working every day, basically. So. My spare time is in between.
I'm jealous. That's awesome.
How about Andy? Where's Andy?
Yeah, I'm over here.
Andy, you're the drummer. You've been with the band for a while now.
This is second generation Andy in the band, right? So I was with Fast Suzi between 2007,
like 9, right?
Yeah. 2007
2008, 2009.
Yeah. It's about 3 years. So I guess that was Mark II, Mark III version of the band. So, and then Matt and I have always stayed in contact through the entire period.
And what is your history? Where first of all, where are you guys from? What area?
Chicago Metro. So no, I think we're all over. We're all over the suburbs of Chicago, right? We just converge in my place when needed.
So
let's get everybody else to answer this too. All right, Bill.
Hi. I live in Lisle, actually.
Yeah, I'm in Bloomingdale.
That's your western suburbs, right?
And I'm the guy that comes from completely the other direction because I grew up in Rogers Park on the north side, and I live in Skokie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a little ways. Yeah,
I know. I feel like I have to when I get off the expressway, I have to give papers that I've come into a new area.
Careful, they could check you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything off of 90. You never know.
Now, you had a girl in the band recently, didn't you? We
did. Her name is Amy Stefan. She is a fantastic singer. Her strength is in her voice, and really kind of wanted to do the music that she's doing now. She is part of an acoustic duo. Okay. And that's really where her passion was. She has her group is called Amy Stefan and Company. And that's really where her passion went. We're still great friends. We still talk. And she's playing out, and she's been very successful at what she does. And rather than just kind of tear the whole thing down, I thought, well, I'm going to find the right people. And everybody here, I'm happy to be working with. I'm thrilled. Andy and I have been friends for a long time. So to have Andy in the project has been a godsend. And Mark was with me since I started putting this back together again in 2019. And Mark is probably the best guitar player that I've worked with in really my entire career. And we found Bill lying near a haystack, and we invited him to come in the band. And
his last name Needle,
play his accordion, and gave him a bass guitar. He brings a great foundation to the band. We all share a lot of similar music interests. We all have different things that are away from the core, but not so incongruous that they clash. So it's a great mixture of different types of influences. And, that's going to be reflective when people come out and see us.
So who does most of the writing?
I am trying to get these guys to work together on writing. I think it'll definitely be a group project. Our focus right now is getting the older material down first, but I have on my iPad probably 30 song ideas. And resurrecting a couple songs that I had written that haven't seen the light of day. So I'm trying to work them up to be worth bringing to the band.
Sure, I'm sure you'll do a great job at that.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever recorded?
So. What's that?
Have you ever recorded any of your original stuff?
Yeah. The original version of the band had an album and a live EP. And you can actually get the album in iTunes in Japan. We were signed to a small label that got purchased. The distributor got purchased by Sony. So as part of all of that, in anywhere in Asia, you can actually get the Fast Suzi album, which it was just called. They may have changed the title, but it was FS1. Because we had the Van Halen 1, Led Zeppelin 1 concept in mind. And then we had a 4-song live EP from The Thirsty Whale. And we sold those at shows, cassettes, like everybody else. That's also available, but not here.
We also captured some live footage in 2008 at Chicago City Limits. Unbeknownst to us, the sound guy did us a favor. So
yeah,
so you'll find some of that content out on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, what is now called Empty Barrels was called Chicago City Limits back when we played. Yeah, and it's still a fantastic place to play. I mean, everybody there, even now, is fantastic. So I can't wait to play there, and I know the guys are excited to get out. So
have you
some Cubby Bear footage?
Yeah.
So
have you done any shows with Dennis yet?
No, not yet.
No. What do you got planned? I'm hoping that we can get out there end of March into April. There, with COVID, there's no guarantee of who's going to be open and, what's going to happen and booking shows and then having them canceled and all that. Sure.
So there is an element of really wanting to get out there, but there's also an element of if it takes a little longer for this to be really incredible, then that's okay too. But we all are just dying to get out there.
Yeah, as every band is. I mean, with with COVID, the way COVID hit and ruined everything. Now you said you started a band back. You rebuilt the band back in 2019. Mm-hmm. So that was right before COVID. So how did you survive? How did you survive through COVID? Just rehearsing.
We had one show.
Fireball. No, we
stay medicated, right?
Right. The lineup with Amy did one show the day before the Super Bowl, right before COVID, February 2020, and we played down at a place called Public House. Fantastic place
in Crestwood.
In Crestwood, right? It was.
We're
really
Southsiders. We're Southsiders.
Right. Well, I'm proud to say that for mostly the North Side band that we drew pretty well. Yeah. We did as well as the headliners, and it was kind of a favor. Stephen Coleman had booked the show. He's a great guy. He and I have known each other from my days in the tribute band. I used to be in an REO Speedwagon tribute band called Rich Reth Project 313. And we impressed him, and thankfully he has always had a good opinion of me. And I asked him for a favor if we could take the lineup out, and it was mostly to see how well we would gel on stage. And for the most part, it was fine. There were some funny points because the lighting was a little rough, and we all looked kind of jaundiced. But the sound was good. Kevin, the late soundman over there, was a fantastic guy. Funny story: the entire time that I've known him, he thought I was in REO Speedwagon, and I wasn't about to tell him no. That I was.
No. He don't do that, right?
No. But then I thought, well, if he thought I used to be in REO Speedwagon, he might have wanted a bigger tip. So I was a little nervous about that. But it was a good barometer of how the music would be received more than anything else. And it really was. I think everybody was wondering how 30-year-old music was going to be received now. I mean, it's in some ways it's a completely different world, and in some ways it hasn't changed.
Right.
And
absolutely.
I thought if our core audience, the people we were trying to appeal to the most, were about in our age range, and I think we're all within, spitting distance of each other as far as age goes, they would have an appreciation of it. And the original band drew fairly well. I mean, we were a little bit under the radar, and that was kind of on purpose, but because we all had lives and, outside of music and what have you. And the music was very, very well received. So I'm very excited about what's going to happen next. And I'm very encouraged that even though it was pre-COVID, that we drew people to a Southside bar that a lot of Northsiders have never heard of. That day, I was giving directions to people left and right. One of the things that really was great about it is realizing how much I gel with this Jamoke on stage. He's a fantastic guitar player to work with. We pretty much know what the other one's going to be doing, and it's been a lot of fun. There's no butting heads.
I think the music was very well received, and I think it will be going forward. I really do.
I was just going to say, and with the addition of the music that Dennis has written and his influence on the material that we're going to be working on next, the new material, it's just going to expand that audience, I think, a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a very interesting summer.
Very good. Well, first of all, I'm glad to hear that you tipped the sound guy, because sound guys are can make or break a band, as we all know.
I have a friend that basically hammered the idea of putting a new Fast Suzi together. His name is Rich Zai, and he was a sound guy at the Whale. And after a while, he became the Fast Suzi sound guy. So he wouldn't let me forget to tip Kevin, the sound guy. So yeah, that he would take a baseball bat to the back of my head if I didn't. So
yeah.
But you got to tip the guys like you tip your waitresses. You got to tip the sound guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Incidentally, Rich is probably the reason I'm in the band, because he remembered me from the Whale days. So kind of owe him that.
Yeah, he holds the title of operations director and audio visionary.
He's promoted.
And yeah, he's been promoted, right? But there's no pay raise.
He owes us money.
Yeah, he owes us money.
Yeah.
He and I have known each other for like 35 years, and I trust his judgment on everything. And he hasn't let me down. The first thing he did was, you got to meet and talk to Mark. And, we gelled pretty instantly. So, he's going to be producing the demo material. He's going to produce, really any audio product that comes out, whether it's a giveaway for sale, whatever. He's worked with some of the biggest names in the business, like Jack Douglas, and, Jack worked with Aerosmith and a number of other people, and he's got an audio pedigree himself. So
when can we expect some of that?
Summer. Yeah. We can go and rush something, but you probably could tell that it would be rushed if we did it.
Right.
And, we are more than anything else a live band. And, that's going to come first, sort of. You want some audio for people to hear, to get interested in you playing, festivals and things like that. But, it's kind of happen around the same time. But I think audio that will make widely available will be sometime in the summer, probably early summer.
Now, will you do, which a lot of bands are doing nowadays, they'll do one song and release it like on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
Or will you guys do a whole, like an EP or an LP or a long play?
Anything and everything goes. It's kind of the bane of the music industry, the streaming world, but it's a necessary evil. So none of us are in this, to make money to eat. So while I have friends who are right now in lawsuits with Spotify over how they're getting paid, I'm not necessarily worried about that. I think, we all have careers. We all have lives outside of music. This is a passion. 100 years ago, this was my career, but, I have as I like to say, a real job, as we all do. So the money is like the icing on the cake. So Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and submitting all this music to labels, because I'm still kind of an old-fashioned guy. I still want to be signed by a label.
Yeah, but labels aren't signing people like they used to. I mean, not like
That's
they did
true.
Back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a completely different world.
Unless it's a distribution, just a distribution thing.
Right. Like the guys at Dark Star. They're great. They're great with promotion. They work with a bunch of guys that I know from back in the day. My old band, the tribute band, is signed to them, and they've done a fantastic job on promotion for them. So that's one of a million avenues. The band, I have an arrangement where Sony Japan has right of first refusal for anything in Asia. But I still, we still have to get them something that we're proud of. So, and they may tell us to go jump in the lake, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Well, Japan's a big market. It's a huge market for American music.
Right.
And it's a great market for American music. So
they're always hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I still get royalty checks from Sony every quarter. Now, sometimes they're 18 cents.
Right.
Sometimes they're like $1.30.
Yeah, wow, that's a big one. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just wondering if they were part of a 2-for-1 thing and, somebody got caught up in that.
Yeah.
I've offered to go there and kiss babies and play at pachinko halls to get people to buy the songs, but airfare to Japan's not cheap.
Shake babies, kiss hands.
Right, and you can't drive over there, and even if you refuel in Guam, you can't drive over there. So.
What kind of rig do you play? What kind of guitar do you play? Both of you.
I play a BC Rich mainly, and I have an Ibanez as well. My BC Rich is original from the 80s, the Gunslinger series.
Okay.
So I think that was about 87, something like that.
He's been told he's out of the band if he ever sells it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's an absolutely amazing guitar, and they don't make anything like it now.
Right.
Yeah, I've told him I'd personally drag him down the expressway if he did.
Yeah, I'm familiar with BC Rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm the gear whore. I have a number of different guitars that will make it out on stage.
What's your go-to?
I don't have just one. For the almost 3 years that I was in the tribute band, it was Les Paul exclusively, and I toured with 3 Les Pauls. I'm trying to stay away from that. My main guitar right now is a Washburn Paul Stanley Preacher, which is kind of like their Les Paul, only it's like the horn goes a different way and the pickups are hotter. It's a fantastic guitar, but the band has a couple of endorsements. We're working with a company called Vintage, which was owned by a guy named Trev Wilkinson. And if you know guitar parts, bridges, and tuning keys, Wilkinson products are like right up there.
Right.
And we have a guitar endorsement with a company called St. Blues, which is down in Memphis. And they're a very unusual, they have an unusual story. Their guitars look like the mashup of a Les Paul and a Telecaster. And Billy Squires used them, Joe Walsh. There was an Eric Clapton model, but Fender stopped that. There's a long story about that. But there's going to be a signature model for me that's going to come out in the summer. And we're working on signature models, all 3 of us, with Vintage. And we have an endorsement deal with Black Diamond Guitar Strings. Oh. And here's the plug. They're fantastic too. They like when I do that. Yeah. But
they are great strings though.
Yeah. And we use what you would expect, Marshall amps. And, I have a variety of guitars. I have a Kramer guitar that we call the bling guitar because it's a Kramer Strat from back in the day. But it's got about 600, 700 crystals on it on the front.
Nice.
That I glued over the course of about 9 months. And they're all like really little tiny things. And, that's going to come out because it's just like, wow,
Sure. That's why you call it the bling guitar, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very blingy. On the Fast Suzi Twitter page, there is a picture of the guitar up against a Marshall half stack. Okay. And it's gotten a lot of compliments. Even the pure of heart people in all the Kramer online groups are impressed, and they don't impress easy. So I'm very happy about that. But the gear is what you would expect.
Tell us about how you get the name Fast Suzi. I know there's a little story behind that, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, there is. The original Fast Suzi was the Fast part of it was an acronym for the initials of the last names of the original members.
Okay.
And then Susie was the name of a 12-year-old daughter of a girl I was dating back then. And it started out as, you're going to be cool with all of your friends at school because there's a band named after you. And initially, we didn't think it was going to stick, but it stuck. We had done some promotion with WVVX back then. Mickey Thomas, the original guitar player, the guy who started the band with me, was friends with Scott Loftus. And Mickey was in Scott's VVX band, The Inmates. And so we had suggested a couple of other names. Like there's a funny story. The original name of the band was Radiation Romeo until we got a letter from Billy Idol's management, cease and desist, because Steve Stevens' solo album that had come out that year had a song called Radiation Romeo. So we had to, quickly change that around. Right. But the name took off. We would do these VVX shows all over the place. One of the VVX Calendar Girl nights turned into VVX Let's Find Susie nights. And so that kind of caught on. And back in the 80s, that was cool.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
Is Susie still around?
She's around. She's grown. She lives somewhere in the western suburbs. I haven't talked to her mom in decades, but I know she's married, has kids. She's a full-on grown-up.
Fast Suzi.
Right? Yeah, Fast Suzi. Come here and say that.
What did he say?
We might change the name of it. Dennis came up with a great idea.
I just spotted a bottle.
Fast Suzi now.
Fast Suzi.
There you go. There you go.
It's our Mexican tour.
Well, and for the distributors of salsa, we will get you Dennis's address for the cease and desist there.
I'm sure they'll take the promo, right?
No, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I should mention that again. Fireball. But
I'm a tequila guy myself, so
that's how it came about.
I like tequila myself, so
tequila works too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Tequila works too, although I think we're all kind of fueled a little more now by coffee more than anything else. I always tell people if as long as the Keurig isn't broken, nobody gets hurt. But God forbid, God help us. My kids know if the Keurig isn't working, get out of the way. And we have a few songs down pretty well, and we're working on more. But like I said, I want people in general to kind of see the package. I believe very much in what I call the holy shit factor, meaning everybody's responses should be, holy shit, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're very much on our way to that. So, we can get a couple songs to you as soon as we can. I think we're at a point where we're comfortable with kind of demo quality, and we can call them the basement tapes.
Sure.
If you want.
Sure.
And yeah, we can get that out to you as quickly as possible, maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Right, that'd be ideal. That'd be ideal because I love to mix something and just my little snippet of something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
To give our listeners a taste of what Fast Suzi is all about.
Sure. Everybody here understands that there's a past, there's a legacy, and it's nice that Andy and I have some connection to the past. And I think it's just as great that this is a fresh view here with these guys. But, carrying the torch is still a little important to me. So I want to make sure that we're doing anything with reverence toward the past, because I'm really proud of it. And anybody who's been in the band has been very proud of the work that we did. And I think these guys are just the right ones to keep moving forward rather than just celebrating the past. So we'll have some pretty good audio, whether it's an old song or a new song. We'll have something that'll make you happy. But people are aware that there are older versions of the band, and feel free to kind of lift some of that if you want. I'm proud of all the incarnations. The stuff that worked, the stuff that didn't work. There's still a certain amount of pride. So
I know you mentioned Twitter. You mentioned Facebook. You've got a website too. I know. Where can people find out more about the band?
The easiest way is our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/Fast Suzi. No space between Fast and Susie. And fastsuzi.com is a website. It is being updated as we speak. We're on Instagram. Twitter is about to go through an overhaul. We have somebody great who's handling our social media, and she's doing a fantastic job. And so you're going to see much more of a presence there than just kind of, we're going to rehearsal, and here's our show. So there'll be, rehearsal videos. There'll be, self interviews with band members so that everybody gets to know all five of us. And, things like that. It's going to be entertaining too.
I know you guys claim that you like to be loud, right?
Damn
you
right.
have to be loud.
Damn right.
It's not rock and roll if it's not loud.
We don't play 100-watt tube amps just because we like how they look.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you said that you wanted to get out by the spring. Have you got anything booked?
No, not yet. The next step is creating an electronic press kit for everybody. I'm thinking that that's going to be within the next month. Once word gets out, not to be arrogant, but it'll trickle in as it's supposed to. I don't have expectations that we're going to get 100 gig offers at one time. We've had a few already, and just kind of little opening slots. But I want to do justice to the experience for everybody. So we're gonna wait until we're ready to go. But there are people that are asking me a lot, when are we coming out? Not coming out, but when are we playing? Yeah. That's a different kind of podcast.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Let's just wait. That's the 18 and over podcast, and we do that later. Okay. Yeah. Hello. No, but we've been asked quite a bit about, are you available to play? There was a festival going on, and actually it was supposed to go on at the end of this month, and we were asked to be in it, and then I guess COVID canceled the whole thing too. So there's interest out there even without the press.
A Winterfest?
Yeah, it wasn't outside. It was at a bar up in Racine. It was a fundraiser, kind of one of those 10 bands.
Yeah.
And I initially thought it might be a good idea. And then as, COVID kind of messed around with everything, it turns out that show was canceled. In fact, the coordinator of the show had COVID, and she's still fighting it. So that's kind of gone by the wayside. But I think the combination of a couple of shows of people that will do us a solid to kind of get everybody, aware of who we are, along with the press kit going out and proper promotion and everything. I think that you will not have trouble finding a place to see us. We'll go anywhere. We'll go to your grocery store opening. We'll play bar mitzvahs.
Well, I'm sure you'll be back down.
Yeah, you want the bat mitzvahs. Yeah,
I'm sure you'll be back down south. Seems like you enjoyed the public house.
Yeah. Well, we'll even go farther south than that. I spend part of my time down in Memphis, and there are a couple of clubs down there that have asked me about when the band is coming down there. There is a great club down there called Lafayette's, which is kind of Memphis's version of the Thirsty Whale, where all the bands, even from the 70s, on their way up and on their way down, have played. So that's a goal too. And there are other markets. I'd love to go play the Whiskey in LA. We have friends who have, and they've raved about how great the experience is. So, that's on the docket too. It's just a matter of getting to the right people. So and we want to do it right.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
And good luck with the band. And we thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thanks a lot. Look forward to hearing you guys.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
no problem. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
You.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was Fast Suzi.
And they're moving pretty fast.
They're moving pretty fast, and hopefully they'll be out pretty quick and with some new music and with their new band.
Yeah, well, yeah, new band, new members.
New members. Dennis, our lead singer, is their newest guy. He's played in the Ukraine and Belarus.
Yeah, he's in Eastern Europe, man.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Very cool.
Fast Suzi is Mark and Matt and Andy and Dennis and Bill. And we talked to all of them. And
they like Fireball.
They like Fireball.
They like tequila.
And tequila. Yes. We found all that out.
That's right. Now who can drag that out of some people?
I tell you.
No one but us.
That's right.
No one but us. We've got the talent to bring that out of people.
Well, it was fun talking to those guys and getting the backstory and finding out what they're up to, and that they will be out soon in the spring. People, so watch for them, and hopefully coming to a bar or a bar mitzvah or a grocery store opening near you.
Near you, exactly. Now I got to head over to the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66. Things are coming along real splendidly over there right now.
That's good. That's good.
I'm sure we're going to hear about an opening in the very near future. But until then, you should go to theroadtorock.org and sign up to be a charter member of the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66. A lot of great benefits.
Please do so, people. It's going to be a great place once it gets open. So.
Home of our studio.
That's right, which should be soon.
That's right. So until then, I bid you a fine adieu.
Okay, adieu to you too.
See you next week.
All right, thanks for listening.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music that's played on this podcast.
The music is used to promote the band or musicians that are interviewed.
Rock and roll, Chicago. Rock and roll.